Okay, let's continue our discussion. So this part of the lecture, the new lecture is actually continued or connected with the last part of the previous lecture. So that's why I kept it together. Now we are going to understand a concept called deadlocks. So what do you mean by deadlock is, I normally, when I explain this topic, I give the idea or example, something related to a deadlock related to a traffic jam. I relate this topic to traffic jam. So when there is a traffic jam, it's like a deadlock situation. Why? Because I am stuck inside the traffic. I cannot move. My car is not going forward. My car is not going backwards. I am actually stuck middle of the road. So this is a kind of a situation of a deadlock. So deadlock happens in the systems because of many reasons. Okay, so when the deadlock occurs, so the process now, as per the my example, when the traffic jam happens, the car cannot go forward or backwards. In the same way, when the deadlock occurs in the system, the process will get stuck in the system. The process cannot continue, or the process cannot go back. So it is actually stuck in the middle. So that is the situation of the deadlock. So why it occurs in the computer? What are all the reasons for the deadlocks, and how are we going to prevent the deadlocks? We are going to understand in this lecture. But it starts with a background that why actually the deadlock happens. Okay, so we get into the concept of the deadlock, and this is one important topic in this lecture where you can expect some questions. Resource allocation graphs. We have some 2-3 examples in the lecture. I will try to give you few more examples in the examples so that you can practice this topic. It is very important. Like we have seen scheduling algorithms in the lecture number 4. This topic is important even for the exam, to create the resource allocation graphs. So you have to understand how to do that. Okay, first understand the background. Okay, so that's why in the previous lecture I told you that computer has got resources. What are the computer resources? A resource can be memory, a resource can be CPU cycle, a resource can be input and output devices, it can be files. So different kind of thing. Okay, and each resource type, resource I, has instances. What do we mean by this? For example, one resource, okay, memory. It's kind of a resource. So some resources are shareable, some resources are not shareable. Okay, so when, for example, we say instances, what do you mean by instances here? Copies. Okay, so example, we have file. Okay, I'm talking about that. This file is in server and already shared. It's a shared file inside the server, and here it's a kind of a file which is used by many people. So for example, if you are the user, you will get one copy. If I am the user, I will get one copy. There is another user, they will get another copy. Now this copy, what I told you, is actually a kind of a instance of the resource. Okay, so each resource type, some resource has got some instance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so in the same way, there are many devices or the resources in the computer. Some of them are shareable, some of them are not shareable. Okay, and this point I explained in the previous lecture in the synchronization. When the process wants a resource, the process is going to request, then it is going to use the resource, and then it is going to release the resource. Suppose I want a memory, the process wants a memory, so it will ask, okay, I want a memory. Okay, so memory is given. The process want a keyboard, so input device is given. The process want to store something in the hard disk. Okay, hard disk is given. The process want to print something in the printer. Okay, so output device is given. Likewise, the process request for the resource, it will use the resource, and then it is going to release the resource. That's what happens in the system. Why do we need to understand them? Because the deadlocks happen because of the resources only. Remember that. Okay, how do we implement the resources? With the help of system calls or with the help of semaphores. Just now we have seen about semaphores. We can make use of semaphores to give the resources or take the resources from the process, or with the help of the system calls, with the system programs. We need to understand this example to understand the concept of the deadlock. Okay, now let's check this example. We understand it very easily now because just now we discussed about what is acquire and what is release. Now let's look at this. Let's say S and Q are to be two semaphores initialized to 1. Okay, so here we are talking about two semaphores, semaphore S, semaphore Q. They are initialized to 1, which are now used by process 0 and process 1. So process 0 and process 1. Okay, now what basically they are doing, process 0 and process 1, they started at the same time. They want both the resources. Process 1 also want yes, process 0 want yes, and also it wants Q. Process 1 wants yes, also it wants Q. Okay, now let's check this code here, our example here. Process 0 and process 1 started at the same time, and it says s dot acquire, q dot acquire. Now tell me what happens after this line, students. When they say s dot acquire and q dot acquire, what happens? S is equal to what happens to s when it says s dot acquire?
-1.
-1 because of acquire. Acquire is like wait. So what happens when you say s dot acquire? S is equal to s minus 1, that becomes 0. Same thing for the q. Q is equal to q minus 1, that becomes 0. Now the value for s is 0. The value for q is 0. Look at the next statement. Q dot acquire, s dot acquire. Now q, process 0 wants q. Okay, now what is the value for q, students? What is the value for q?
0.
0. And what is the value for s?
0.
Again 0. So both of them, q and s, both of them are now 0 and 0, which means can they start working now? Can they take the resource q and s, process 0 and process 1? Can this line
No.
Can this line work now? The answer is no. We cannot do that because when it has to take q dot acquire, it will check the q. Q is 0, which means it has to wait. It has to wait. Now, okay, leave about this process. Now process 1 want to say s dot acquire, it will check yes. Okay, now it is 0. It will say, okay, it is 0. I want to wait. Wait. How long we can wait? How long we can wait? Can any one process complete now? Can any one process complete now? P0 is waiting for P1. P1 is waiting for P0. Can any one of the process complete now?
No.
No. So this is the situation, we call it as a deadlock. Understand that. This is the situation, we call it as a deadlock. Why it is a deadlock? No one can go further. Like, you both are in a road. Okay, so like, you are traveling on a road. It is a single road. Okay, so there is one car here. There is another car here. Both of them are waiting. If this car thinks that, okay, if it is going back, I will go. This car is thinking, okay, if this car goes back, then I will go. But no one is going. So now there is a traffic jam. No car can go forward because they are waiting for each other to go back or maybe to give a way. So this is an example. Let me read the first statement here. A set of process is in deadlock state if every process waits for an event that can only be caused by another process in the set. Now P0 and P1 are set of process. P0 and P1 are the set of process. Now if I read that P0 and P1 are in now deadlock state, when if every process like P1 or P0, both of them is waiting for an event that can only be caused by another process in the set. Now P0 is waiting, P1 will do something, P1 is waiting that P0 will do something, but they cannot do anything because of the unavailability of the resources. So this is the example of a deadlock situation. They give another example here. Dining philosopher's problem. This is a very big description here. I will tell you easily. So these are the people, 5 people. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. We call them as dining philosopher. Philosopher means, they are always thinking and they are now eating also. But we don't know when they will eat. We don't know when this is a plate. This is a plate. They are sitting on a table and they want to eat. And when they want to eat, they want 2 forks, from 2 hands. They want both. As per this explanation, if all of them has taken one, okay, so let's say this one has taken this philosopher has taken this one has taken this one has taken this, and this one has taken this, but they want two actually. Is the resource available now to eat? You understand the problem now? Okay, so all of them are hungry. They have taken one from the right hand, but the left hand they cannot take it because already it has taken by the neighbor. So this philosopher took this fork, but this is now not with him. It is with this person. So he has taken this, but this is not with him. So likewise, this is the thing explained here. Consider 5 philosophers who spend their lives thinking and eating. The philosophers share a circular table surrounded by 5 chairs. Each belong to one philosopher. In the center of the table, there is a bowl of rice, and the table is laid with 5 single chopsticks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When a philosopher thinks, she does not or he does not interact with her colleague. So from time to time, a philosophers get hungry and try to pick up the 2 chopsticks and that are close to them. Okay, so a philosopher may pick up only 1 chopstick at a time. So sometimes because if it is not available, okay, so the chopsticks that are between her and her left and right side neighbors. A philosopher may pick up only 1 chopstick at a time. Obviously, he or she cannot pick up chopsticks that is already in the hand of a neighbor. So as I told you, this person has taken this chopstick. They cannot take this because it is already in the hand of this person. Okay. So when a hungry philosopher has both her chopsticks at a time, she eats without releasing the chopstick. When she is finished eating, she puts down both the chopsticks and starts thinking again. Now, when all of them has taken one, they cannot execute. Like the same example what I gave you here. So when both of them has taken one, they don't have any resource available now. Like process 1, process 0, process 1. Think like philosopher 0, philosopher 1. They have taken 1 stick. The other one is not available. It is with the other process. So what is the solution? One simple solution is to represent each chopstick with a semaphore. A philosopher tries to grab a chopstick by executing wait operation on the semaphore, releases the chopstick by executing signal operation on the appropriate semaphore. So they are telling that we can apply the wait and signal concept here to make sure that. Okay, so this is how we get various conditions. Now these are all the various. I will stop with this. Okay, so we get various the conditions because of for the deadlocks. First problem what happens is, for the deadlock, mutual exclusion is one big problem for the deadlock. We say in the previous lecture it is a solution, but now we are telling it is one condition for the deadlock. Mutual exclusion, at least one held resource must be non-shareable. If the resource is shareable, If the resource is shareable, there is no problem. But if the resource is not shareable, then we have the problem of mutual exclusion. What they are trying to say here is, so like we have seen, process 1 taken one resource. Okay, process 2 want to take the same resource. Okay, now what's happening here? Because as we have seen, this is just only one. This is just one. So when process 1 is using, process 2 cannot get it. Cannot get it. Because of this mutual exclusion, we are getting the concept of deadlock. Okay, I will take you back to the same example. Imagine in this example, if yes, or say if it is Q, anyone, if they are shareable, do we get the problem, students? Do we get the problem if they are shareable?
No.
No, because here, if you look at this example, Q is already taken by Q is already taken by P1 and S is already taken by P0. That's why it's only a single. It is not shareable. That's the reason why we are having a deadlock here. That's the point they are telling in the lecture. So what it is mentioned, what is the necessary condition for the deadlock? Number 1, at least one of the held resources must be non-shareable. But in our example, normally, because of non-shareable, we are getting the deadlock. If it is shareable, we will not get the deadlock. Another point for deadlock is hold and wait. Again, I will go back to the same example. These dining philosophers, they are holding something and waiting for something. Here also, they are holding something. Imagine if I tell here, I'm giving you the solutions which we are going to see. Okay, so one solution is shareable. Number 2, okay, suppose if I tell in this, if you have both of them, S and Q, both of them, if you have them, then only you start. Will we get a problem if you do like that? Do you understand me? If you have both S and Q, then only you can start. If you put a rule like this, do we get a deadlock? Do we get a deadlock? I will explain in a different way.
Repeat, Mr.
I will repeat and I will explain in a different way. So here we let the process to start with just only one resource. Here we let to start the process 1 to with one resource. Instead of that, if we tell them you cannot start like this unless you have all the resources with you. We tell to process 0 that if you have S and Q, both of them with you, then only you can start. In that situation, do we get a deadlock? In that situation, do we get a deadlock? We want to put a rule that process 0, you cannot start like this when you have just only one. You can start when you have both the resources, S and Q, both of them are free, then only you can start. If you put a rule like that, do we get a deadlock?
I think no.
We will not get a deadlock because we want to put a rule. But now, why are we getting the deadlock? Because of one reason, that is hold and wait. Hold and wait. First problem for the deadlock is non-shareable resource. Non-shareable resource. That's why this Q and S, they are not shareable. That's why we are getting a deadlock. Second reason for having a deadlock is hold and wait. What is hold and wait? P0 is holding S and waiting for Q. P1 is holding Q and waiting for S, which is making the deadlock. If we say you cannot do like this, hold and wait, there is no possibility of a deadlock. Everything is going to be fine. That is the second reason of the deadlock. What is second reason of the deadlock? Hold and wait. There must be at least one process that's holding a resource and waiting for another resource. Now, in this example, Process 0 is holding yes and waiting for Q, and process 1 is holding Q, waiting for the yes. Because of this, because of hold and wait, we are getting the deadlock. Is it clear? Two problems of the deadlock. One problem is because of non-shareable resource. Second problem is because of holding something and waiting for something. So holding a resource and waiting for a resource, which is creating a deadlock. Now, what is third reason for the deadlock? Non-preemption. What is non-preemption? We understand, if you remember lecture number 4, we have two type of scheduling: preemptive, non-preemptive. Preemptive means we can stop, non-preemptive means we cannot stop. Okay, for example here, if I apply, this is now non-preemptive. This is not non-preemptive. Why it is non-preemptive? We cannot stop the process once it has started. Now, as I told you, now there is a deadlock here. P0 cannot continue because Q is not available. P1 cannot continue because S is not available. And we cannot stop any process because of non-preemption. This is creating the deadlock now. What can be a solution here? Solution is opposite. The solution is preemption. What is preemption? When P0 is not working, it is in a deadlock, we can say, okay, P1, can you stop for some time? Release this. Release Q. Then Q will be taken by P0 and P0 will complete the job. Or in an opposite way, we say P0, you stop for some time, and P1, you continue your job, you take everything from P0 and you complete your job. After that, we can say, okay, P1, you can start. Do you understand now? But this is not happening. This is not happening. That is called as a non-preemption. Why non-preemption? Normally in the system, we cannot stop the process forcefully. Because of that, we are getting a deadlock. This is now third problem of a deadlock. Third problem of a deadlock. Now, what is the fourth problem of a deadlock? Circular wait. Circular wait. Now, this is also an example of a circular wait, and this is also an example of a circular wait. So this one, this philosopher taken this. I told you already, waiting for this. So this philosopher taking this and waiting for this. So this philosopher waiting for this, taken this, waiting for left side. So this philosopher taken this, waiting for the left side. This philosopher taken this, waiting for this. Like, in a general example, we'll say process 1 waiting for process 2. Process 2 waiting for process 3. Process 3 waiting for process 4. Process 4 waiting for process 1. When it will finish? When it will finish? No way. Because each one of them, they are waiting for each other. Process 1 think, okay, if process 2 will finish, I will start my job. Process 2 will think, okay, process 3 will finish, then I will start my job. Process 3 will think, okay, if process 4 will finish, I will start the job. Process 4 will think, process 1 will finish, I will start the job. But who will be finished? No one. This is called as circular wait, like a cycle. Now, in the same example applies here also. Process 0 think, if process 1 will finish, I will start my job. Process 1 will think, if process 0 finishes, I will start the job. It is like, between both of them, process 0 and process 1 is like a circular wait. They are waiting for each one of them. So because of these conditions, we get deadlocks. Okay, mutual exclusion, resources are not shareable. At least one of the held resources must be not shareable. If there is shareable, we will not get a deadlock. Because they are not shareable, we will definitely get a deadlock. Second condition, hold and wait. One process is holding something, okay, and waiting for another resource. That is the reason for the deadlock. Third condition, a resource can be only released by the process that is holding. So we cannot take this resource and give to process 1. We cannot take this resource and give to process 0. Same thing here. when they have taken each one of them, we cannot take something from their hand. Please give me, I want to finish eating. We cannot do that. Because of that, because of no preemption, a resource can only be released by the process that is holding, but the process will not hold, the process will not release because it is waiting for some other resource. So third reason for the deadlock. What is the fourth reason for the deadlock? Process 1 is waiting for process 2, 2 is waiting for 3 is waiting for 4. Likewise, finally, process something waiting for process 1, like a cycle. Who will finish? No one will finish. So because of these 4 reasons, we will get deadlocks in the system. Now, how do we show that in the system? We have some examples. I will not teach this today. We draw something like this, resource allocation graph, a picture. Okay, I will not explain this. I will just tell you what it is. Okay, so we'll say this is the resource. Process is taking the resource. We put a line. Okay, to show which process is using which resource, and then finally we see whether we have a deadlock or whether we don't have a deadlock with the help of resource allocation graph. This I will not teach today. So inshallah, in the next class, I will complete this topic of resource allocation graphs. Okay, so I will explain about this in the coming class. Okay, so with that, what we have understand today, just about the deadlocks. What is deadlock? Why the deadlock happens? These 4 reasons for the deadlock, and later we will see the solutions for them. Already I gave you the solutions while I explained. Okay, so we have to see the solutions for them. 4 problems, 4 solutions. We will see after completing the resource allocation graph. Okay, so I will stop with that for today. We'll continue in the next class.